Guys, it's Kara from iStampin.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to be making this really pretty inlay card. I don't know if there's a technical term for this technique, but if there is, I'd love for you to share it with me. I'm calling it an inlay because, as you can see, the die cuts are a part of the image that I stamped, and I went ahead and stacked them up. I kind of made like faux chipboard, I guess if you can say. I die cut the Thinlits a few times, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and I'm going to also show you some little tricks that I think are going to work as I made this card. I've made quite a few versions as I was working out all of the idiosyncrasies of this card, if that's the right word to use. But this is using one of our celebration items. This is using the Celebrate You Thinlit dies, which you can still earn for free through the end of this month. We just have 2 weeks left of celebration, if you can believe it, just a little over 2 weeks. This is a level 2 item, so to earn the Thinlits for free, you do have to place a $100 order in my online store before tax and shipping, and when you do, you can get these for free. But I also wanted to let you know, starting today, March 15th, Stampin' Up! Has added some new items to the celebration offerings. So, you know, if you've taken advantage of celebration and have just about everything in the brochure, but are still interested in getting some free items, it's your lucky day. So there are some items from our annual catalog that you can choose for free. There's some items actually in the occasions catalog that you can choose for free. There's also level 1 and level 2 items, and this flyer is up on my blog right now. It's on yesterday's post, so if you search for March 14th, you'll actually see all the details. It is while supplies last, and that's the same thing with the items in the celebration brochure. So, you know, if there's something that you've had on your wish list, I wouldn't wait too long, especially when it gets down to the last 2 weeks of celebration. Things do start to sell out. All right, so why don't we make our card? The stamp set that I'm using is a Hostess stamp set that you can find in our annual catalog. It's called Tranquil Tulips, and I've been challenging myself the last 2 weeks. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but I've really challenged myself to use items that I haven't used before. There's so many times where I order all these stamp sets and I never get around to using them before, you know, they retire, you know, whatever. So I've really been challenging myself, and I've been having a lot of fun. And this Hostess set, this Tranquil Tulips, is just gorgeous. So, you know, with it being spring, Easter right around the corner, I thought this was the perfect time to debut this. So as a reminder, to earn Hostess stamp sets, you do have to have either an order, a personal order. It can be combined order of $150 or more, or if you were interested in doing like an online workshop or an in-person party, just $150 or more, and then you're able to earn Stampin' rewards to purchase this for free. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, you know, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. All right, so what I've done here is I have created my own crumb cake note card. I was so sad when they retired those out of the catalog last year, but you know what? You can still make your own note cards. The only thing is you just won't have a crumb cake envelope. You can make them with your envelope punch board, or you can just use a white note card or a white envelope from the note card set, but anyway, so what you will want to do to create your own note card is to cut a piece of crumb cake cardstock 7 by 5, and we're going to score this at 3.5. Okay, so just get out your Simply Scored scoring board and score this at 3.5, and you will now have a crumb cake note card. So let's just go ahead and burnish that with our bone folder. We are going to be using it landscape style. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is to cut a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is where we're going to do our stamping, and this measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. So it's just a 1/4 inch smaller than the note card, and we're going to be layering this on top of the card base. This is also where we're going to do our stamping. I think I may have already said that. So because these are photopolymer stamps, you do want to get out a Stampin Pierce Mat. I'm also going to get a scratch piece of my grid paper because we're going to be stamping off. Now what you're going to want to do is, here in my card, I've kind of, you know, made sure that where I stamped that the Thinlits are going to, you know, capture some of that image. So you do kind of want to think about where you want to stamp your flowers and envision where it's going to be cut out with the dies. So, you know, if you want to lay it down on your card to kind of give you an idea as to where, you know, you want to, you know, stamp your images, that's a great idea. I like how I have it kind of like right justified with the U. I like that look. But anyway, so that kind of gives you a little tip. So let's go ahead and stamp. Like I said, we're going to be using Tranquil Tulips. We're going to be using quite a few of the images, but I stuck with the smaller tulips just because this is a smaller card. So I'm using the solid image and then the outline image. I'm also using a couple of the leaves and the stems. I am using this little image right here. I don't know what that is. Is that like a cone flower? And I'm only using the detailed image. I'm not using that solid image. And then the stem that goes with that, and then one of the little, I think it's that little guy right there for the inside, the stamen part of the flower. The colors that I pulled out today are Old Olive for the leaves, Basic Gray for the little stamen and the tulips, Crushed Curry for that cone flower image, and Calypso Coral and Powder Pink for the tulips. So the Powder Pink will be the light color or the solid image, and then the Calypso Coral is going to be the detailed image. So let's start out with Powder Pink. So like I said, I've made a couple of these already, well, more than a couple. I made a few, and I think I've got some really handy tips that I'm hoping are really helpful, because I think it's gonna give me the look that I'm looking for. So, you know, I know that's, as I get to that point, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Okay, now let's come in with Calypso Coral, and we're going to stamp the detailed part of the flowers. And I love how this is clear stamps, and I can just come right in and see exactly where I'm stamping. And if you don't stamp perfect, that's okay. These are distressed stamps, so you are going to get some depth of perception with the stamps. That's the design of it, so don't think that your stamps are defective. All right, now let's come in with Old Olive, and we're going to stamp the stems and the leaves. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the stems. And this is kind of a skinny stamp, so you do kind of want to make sure that when you stamp it that you kind of rock it back and forth just to make sure that you've gotten a good impression. Just like that. Wouldn't this be just such a pretty card to give for Easter? Easter's right around the corner. Okay, so I've got some of these stamps on here, on the front and back. So I'm going to stamp this one, this leaf right here, like that. And I like the design that I did in my sample, so I'm going to stamp that solid leaf. Let's see here. I think I may do, let's see, I'm going to try something a little bit different here. I think I'm going to do this one right here. There we go. All right. I'm going to leave the Old Olive out because now I'm going to come in with Crushed Curry, and I'm going to stamp that little that little coneflower image. It kind of looks like corn, but I liked the color of the crushed curry. And then I'm going to come right here. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp 2 of those. I like to do odd numbers with images like this for whatever reason. I don't know what the science is behind it, but they just, whatever I've heard is that odd numbers are pleasing to the eye. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with the stem for those 2 little flowers and stamp that again in Old Olive. Okay, and now there's a little leaf that I'm going to stamp for this guy, and we'll do one more. We'll do one right here. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in with basic gray, and I'm going to stamp the stamen and the tulips, and our stamping will be done. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to, I'm just going to lay this Celebrate right here and the U about right here. I'm going to take this to my Big Shot. If for some reason, if even with the magnetic plate, if it seems like it's kind of moving around, especially because this is really important to you know, make sure that the die cuts stay where they need to be and that they're straight, you may want to lay some washi tape down just to ensure that there's no shifting when you're putting it through your Big Shot. But while you're doing that, at the same time, I've already done this to save time. You're going to want to cut out the word Celebrate in U 3 more times in just plain Whisper White cardstock. Okay, so I've got my Celebrates and I've got my U's already done. Now the reason why I did this is because, and I'll show you this one card that I made yesterday, is I tried putting it up on dimensionals, and you can do it if you want to do this. I just thought it was really tedious. The other thing is I wasn't crazy about seeing the crumb cake cardstock behind it. It wasn't really the look that I was going for. I mean, you can definitely do this if you want to, like, you know, I think I used our foam adhesive for this, so you can, you know, just cut it into tiny little strips, and just, you know, if you do this, you really want to make sure that you put a lot on, because you want your words to be really supported. You don't want it to sag. You could also use like our Stampin' Dimensionals, but this was kind of the look that I was going for, just the more stacked. It's a little bit more subtle. You know, I just think it's just, I like the subtleness. You know something's there, but at the same time you're like, what is that? Whereas this is a little bit more in your face kind of thing. But you know, whichever one you prefer, but I like this one, that one better. Okay, so I'm going to go die cut these out, and then I've got some little tips to show you, and I hope this really works. Oh, the other thing is, when you're die cutting these out, be sure to keep the center pieces. Really don't let those get lost, because we're going to be using the center pieces, the center part of the letters that we die cut. So this is what it looks like when we've got it all die cut. So like for instance, this part right here, I want to keep it, because as you can see, I've got some stamp images on there, and then the same thing with Celebrate. Now this is what I thought about this, and I'm hoping this works. So let me take this out. So I need to get that center part of the A and keep that. Okay, and the B is still in there. Okay, so to be quite honest, some of these little pieces are like super, super tiny, like this R. I mean, can you see how tiny that is? And the same thing with the E's. So what I am thinking about doing is, and I'm going to put all these over here to the side so they stay safe. I'm going to use this one just in case. So okay, here, I don't know if you can see this. So behind the E's And the R, you really can't see the R very much, but behind the E's you can see the crumb cake cardstock. So what I did is I am just going to put just a piece of, I don't know if this is going to work. What I want to do is just put a piece of cardstock behind here, white cardstock, where it's not as noticeable. Let's see if this is going to work. Yeah, I think that's going to work, because then I'm going to come in and cover up the B and the A. So I'm thinking about this as I'm doing it. Yeah, that will work. Okay, so hopefully as I stack it, it's not going to be as noticeable. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. All right, so what we want to do first is, I guess we want to go ahead and put this on here first. Okay, so I'm going to, and I'm going to be using some glue, some glossy accents. I didn't like this glue. It's just too sticky for me. I didn't like it. So I'm going to use glossy accents, and I'm just going to rub. You could use your fine tip glue pen, but I just thought this was better. I just liked this better. Okay. And let's keep our fingers crossed that this works. Yeah, I guess that's going to work. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to the front of the card base. Now you do want to get in between the words, outline the words really well, because you want all of this to stick down. Okay. Okay, so let's bring our card base back in. Okay, and you want to make sure that you're placing this evenly on the card base. The other reason why I like to use the wet adhesive is that it gives you some time to kind of move it around, like so. If you don't have it straight, if you use dry adhesive like a tape runner, you don't have that flexibility. Okay. All right, the other thing that I am going to do is I'm going to glue one of these down first, and then I'm going to come in and glue the, I'm going to rub this away. I'm going to glue the center pieces in. I was waiting until after I had all of them done, and it made it a little bit harder to get those center pieces in, so I think this is going to work better. So now I'm just going to put glue all around the word. So you can see I have lots of little dots. I'm going to come in here and just fit it in. This is where the inlay technique is. And you just want to make sure it's fitting in there properly. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to come in with those stamped pieces. This is the A, the middle of the A. Yeah, this is a lot easier. And I think it fits like this. Yep. Ah, yes, this is much easier than what I was doing earlier. Okay, and this is the B. So have y'all seen my Stampin' Blends giveaway? Have y'all entered in for that? That goes through the end of the month. I'm giving away an entire collection of Stampin' Blend markers, so I hope that you enter. I'm so excited. Okay, so where's this? Okay, we're gonna see if this works. I have a little tool, but of course I can't find it right now. So we're going to see if I can do this with nails and get this in there. This is the inside of that R. Let's see here. If this works, it'll be a miracle. I'm going to use my scissors to help me. Ah, it's so tiny. If I had my little quick stick tool, it'd be a lot easier. There we go. Hey, I did it. Yay. Okay, so I'm not concerned. Well, let's see. Where's that one E? Do I have that? Let's see. Oh, here it is. It's still in here. Okay, so let's do the E as well. Since I have it right here. This actually is a lot easier. So maybe backing it with the white cardstock isn't necessary since I'm putting these little pieces in just with one of the Celebrates glued down. I was trying to do it when I had them all stacked up and it was just too difficult. But this is doable. So maybe that step of putting the cardstock behind here is not necessary. There we go. Okay. Since the E's are, there's nothing behind them, I'm just going to leave them like that. Okay. All right. So what do y'all think about that? Does that look good? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue these together like I did previously. So just go ahead and put glue all over this word, and then we're just going to stack the other one on top. And I don't think I finished talking to you about my Stampin' Blends giveaway. Anyway, to enter into the giveaway, there will be a link on today's blog post, and you just go over, just click on the link, and it will give you all the details about what you need to do to enter. I do have an incentive, an ordering incentive that allows you to get an extra entry. That ordering incentive ends tomorrow, so if you want to do that, you definitely can take advantage of that. Okay, so now we're just going to stack this up on top of the other word. Get that glue off where I dropped it. The great thing about this glue is that it does dry clear. Okay. This is a really, I mean, this is a little tedious. It's fun to me. It doesn't, but I think when your recipients, your friends, whoever gets this card will just be like in awe and will just think that you are just brilliant. So that's what it's going to look like. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love it. And these tulips are just beautiful. Tulips are one of my favorite flowers. My favorite flower, and I've never seen it in person, I've just only seen them online, are peonies. And unfortunately here in Florida, we just can't grow peonies. I've tried. I go about once every other year, I go to a nursery and say, is it possible? And they're just like, no. Oh, you know what? Need to pop this out. There we go. So yeah, I try about every other year and they're like, it's just too hot. So for those of you that live in climates where peonies can grow, I'm so jealous. They're just absolutely beautiful, beautiful flowers. All right. And I have to say, putting the words on when it's already on the card is a lot easier too. I was stacking them all together like in my hand, like all like this. And I mean, it definitely worked, but I feel like I have more control and able to line them up a lot better when it's like this. So there's another tip that I didn't realize. Okay, so there's the first word. What do you think? Yay. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the same thing with the word you. So we're going to just put one of the plain letters or plain words down first, and we'll center in that O. Okay, like that. And then here's the center part of the O. So the tricky thing is just, you know, figuring out which way it goes. So it goes like that. It's not too hard. You know, it's like a little puzzle, but you'll figure it out. Okay. And that's it, guys. I mean, the card is done. That comes together so much easier. And it could be that I just also made about 5 of these before. So I've gotten a little bit better. But anyway, guys, oh, it's just gorgeous. I just absolutely love it. There's a really good way to see it. Just, oh my gosh, you can do this with any word Thinlits that we have. You know, happy birthday. Gosh, there's just so many different, there's just so much that you can do with this technique. But I just love it. I'm so excited about how this turned out. So anyway, guys, so again, that was using our Hostess stamp set, Tranquil Tulips, that you can find in our annual catalog. Like I said, this is a Hostess stamp set. And then this is using the Celebrate You Thinlits from our celebration catalog. You can find these on page 17, so you can still earn these for free the rest of this month. And then don't forget about the new items that went up today for celebration. And then also be sure to sign up for my Stampin' Blends markers giveaway. All right, guys, well, I hope you liked today's card. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my newsletter. And you can do that by heading over to istampin.com. At the very top, you'll just you'll just put your name and email address in there. And then if you have any questions about any of the items that I used today, the technique, anything like that, feel free to comment below and I will reach out to you. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Oh, and if you liked it, give it a I think I already said that. Yeah, anyway. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.